Hey guys, are you a student who's thinking about applying to the University of Waterloo for engineering but want to learn more about the school and the program? Well, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to give you the rundown on all things Waterloo Eng from the perspective of a current student. So who am I? My name is Isabella, and I'm a current biomedical engineering student at the University of Waterloo. Some fun facts about me are that I was a class rep, an academic rep for my class. Hey guys, are you Hey guys, are you a student who's thinking about applying to the University of Waterloo but want to learn more about the school and the program? Well, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'm going to give you the rundown on all things Waterloo Eng from the perspective of a current student. So, who am I? My name's Isabella, and I'm a current biomedical engineering student at the University of Waterloo. Some fun facts about me are that I was an academic rep my first year at Waterloo. I also was a member of the UWaterloo Orchestra and was involved with the UWaterloo Biomechatronics design team. I'm currently on a co-op term, and I'm also an admissions coach and consultant here at Admissions Ally. I know how stressful the process can be applying to university, especially when applying to a program like Waterloo Engineering. It's so competitive. There's so many strong students who are applying to these programs. And I really look forward to helping students relieve some of that stress, be more confident in their application by working with them one-on-one or through the Waterloo Engineering Admissions Bootcamp. So when students are deciding whether they want to apply to a university or a program, there are 9 preferences they look at. In this video, I'm going to touch briefly on each of these factors, but I would really recommend doing more research in any topic that interests you. The more you can know about the university and the program, the more confident you can be that program and that university is the right decision for you. If you're confident that you're the right fit for Waterloo Engineering, it'll come across in your application and it'll definitely strengthen your candidacy in an authentic way. So the first factor is student resources. Waterloo is known for being a very technology-focused university, and they have such a wide variety of tools and equipment available for students. What I'm about to say only begins to scratch the surface layer of all the tools they have available. But one of the first experiences I had using equipment, I guess, and using tools at the University of Waterloo was the engineering student machine shop. All engineering students have access to this machine shop, and you can get certified pretty quickly. And it has any type of metal machining equipment that you would ever need to work on a side project, a class project, any type of thing like that. Another cool space that students have access to is the What I Make makerspace, which is home to tons of rapid prototyping equipment. So 3D printers, a laser cutter, a CNC mill, all those kinds of things. The What I Make makerspace is actually housed in the Department of Mechanical and Mechatronics Engineering. And depending on what program you're in and what department you're in, you'll have access to an even wider variety of tools. Being in biomedical engineering, I was in the Department of Systems Design, so I had access to a systems design engineering student workshop space and lab and even a lounge. And no matter what program or department you're in, you'll find that there's so many tools available. You'll also have access to a team of counselors that are specific for engineering students. So beyond just the counseling and the health services that the entire university offers, they have a specialized team for engineering students. There's also specific academic advisors. So if you have any issues with courses, you could go to them. I know in my first year, I had a little bit of difficulties with the transition, and I could always count on going to my academic advisors, and they would send me in the right direction if they couldn't help me with a certain topic. That included the Student Success Office, which helps with leadership development, academic development, if you want to learn about exchange and study abroad opportunities. There's tons of help available on campus. It's really about knowing what's available and taking advantage of it. Factor 2 is location. So the city of Waterloo is located only an hour west from Toronto. This area is often referred to as Canada's Silicon Valley. It's a huge hub for technology. Back in the 80s, BlackBerry was founded there, and since then, it's just created this hub of innovation, and it's only grown. There's so many startups that are housed out of Waterloo, and a lot of interesting companies that all have their main offices there. So being in Waterloo, you'll experience pretty typical Canadian weather. Lows of like -11 and highs of around 21. And what's unique about attending the University of Waterloo is that you'll be in a co-op program. This means you'll have a sequence of school and work terms. And because of the sequencing, engineering students are often attending school during the summer. And I think that's pretty rare, and it's pretty unique to be able to experience a university campus in the summertime, as well as fall, winter, and all the variety of seasons. The city of Waterloo also has one of the youngest populations, and this is because there are so many students. Just down the street from the University of Waterloo is Laurier. In fact, my first year, my residence building was closer to some Laurier buildings than it was to some of the Waterloo buildings that were on the opposite side of campus. Conestoga College is also located in Waterloo, so there's always something to do. There's lots of little coffee shops, bubble tea places, tons of shawarma places, a popular diner. There's Waterloo Park that's just off campus if you want to experience some green space. There's Conestoga Mall that's just a short LRT ride away. A lot of things for students to do, and so many things to get involved in. Waterloo is actually home to the largest Oktoberfest outside of Germany, which is pretty interesting. And during different seasons, they have a lot of different cultural events, which is pretty exciting. So being in the city of Waterloo, there's a lot of different housing opportunities available. Many students live in apartments. There's definitely some higher end apartments that are a lot closer to campus, and then there's also some cheaper housing options. So there's kind of something for everyone. As I previously mentioned, with the co-op sequencing, it's often that you'll experience subletting. Either you sign a lease and sublet out your apartment for a few months, or you're subletting yourself. So that can be a little bit of a stressful experience, but I think most people can find a place that they're happy with. Factor 3 is career. So when it comes to Waterloo University, I think co-op is kind of like the hallmark of the school. Waterloo University offers one of the largest co-op programs in the world. As an engineering student, you're automatically in a co-op program. And as I previously mentioned, you'll experience work and study sequences. So what that means is from your first year, you'll be entering co-op, which is super unique. And it pushes students to understand the job application and interview process really early on. I know a lot of students go through university, they graduate, and then they're entering the world of work. And that can be very stressful. Their resume doesn't have much experience from work, and they feel like they're acting like on square one. At the University of Waterloo, you're going through all these stresses from your first year. So once you graduate, you already have these different experiences, working for different companies, working in different fields. You can test out different jobs, because usually your work term is only for 4 months, so it's not a major commitment, and really see what you're passionate about and what you want to work in. It's such a great opportunity to build professional skills, to improve your resume, and graduate being super employable. And that's why the University of Waterloo is ranked #1 in Canada for career preparation, and also #1 for employer-student connections. So when applying to co-op jobs, you'll use Waterloo Works, which is kind of like an online system. And you'll see that there's so many different companies that are posting their jobs specifically for Waterloo students. Companies really, I think, look highly upon Waterloo graduates because they know that Waterloo students have been prepared for the workforce, that they have these work experiences. And this has created a really good bond between employers and the university. And so most of our students graduate and are quickly employed, especially since if you've been working for 4 months for a co-op, like during a co-op for a specific company, they've already done all the training with you. If you do a good job, it's likely that they'll want to hire you back. They don't want to go through the training process again with someone new if they could hire you back and get you right up to speed working in the position that they were looking to hire someone in. So factor 4 is co-curriculars. The Waterloo University is a rather large school, so there's lots of different ways to get involved. The first one is Waterloo Engineering Society, which is a great way to get involved in the Waterloo engineering specific community. They represent us on like any relevant matters on a bunch of different levels of the school. They run a bunch of different events as well, including a semi-formal, ski trips, coffee house, that kind of thing. And they also offer a lot of resources, including an online exam bank, resume critiques. They have a engineering specific lounge that's run by them. So it's a lot of cool things that you can take advantage of. Waterloo also is home to 24 design teams, all of which are student-led, in the Cedra Design Center. So that's where a lot of these design teams work out of. It's kind of like this giant work bay, and it's the largest of its kind in North America, which is so cool. When I was first touring the University of Waterloo, I was actually got to like learn about a bunch of the different design teams. It was kind of like a design team fair. And it got me super excited to be around such motivated, passionate students who are working on such interesting things outside of the classroom. So here are just images from the UWaterloo rocketry team and the Midnight Sun, which is like the solar car team. They also have they have so many different teams, honestly. As I previously mentioned, I was involved on the biomechatronics design team. They have an alternative fuel team for cars, a concrete toboggan, concrete canoe team. So many different opportunities to learn from your peers and create some really cool things. WUSA also offers 250 plus student clubs and nearly 30 athletic clubs. So like many universities, if you have a hobby that you're interested in, or you belong to a certain religion, or you want to get involved with a cultural group, there's just so many different options. So if you can think of it, there's probably already a club that exists for it. But if there isn't, there's certain steps you can take to make that club happen. Factor 5 is campus and facilities. So Waterloo's campus has a fair bit of green space, but the facilities tend to vary. So I think one of the most common things I hear among students is that the campus just isn't super cohesive. So it's not one of those old universities like U of T, McGill, Queens, where it has that like classic, heavy historical characteristics. It's a lot more like concrete buildings that were built in like the 80s. And then them trying to update the campus with these newer futuristic facilities. There's a lot of construction on campus always, because I think they're just trying to make the school, always trying to improve the school. And some of these buildings are super nice, state of the art. On the left here, there's the Quantum Nano Center, and then on the right is one of our engineering buildings that are both relatively new. Really, really nice spaces to be studying in or to have some classes in. They're also constantly updating athletics and recreation facilities. So I know the physical activity complex was just getting an extension added, and they're always doing something different. The field's beautiful. The gym is on par with any other university. They have really nice buildings. There's also a variety of options when it comes to student residences. So like I mentioned with apartments and housing, there's also a lot of options with your first year residences. There's a college system, which has St. Jerome's College, St. Paul's, Renison College, and those are kind of have like their own little community. They offer some classes out of the colleges, and they have some designated meal times. And then we also have those more traditional residences as well. So here's a picture of two different rooms. One of the older, more traditional rooms, and one of the rooms in the newest residence as well. So depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for a suite style or single room or double or whatever, there's definitely a lot of different options. One little tip I would recommend is if you know someone who's also attending Waterloo and you can request them as a roommate, it might increase your chances on getting a room that you really like. So also as an engineering student, you'll have access to many workspaces and labs. So I've already mentioned some workshops, and I mentioned the Cedra Design Center, but these are two other pretty neat spaces located in our newer engineering buildings. It's the RoboHub on the left, which is where a lot of master students and professors do some research things on AI. And then also the Ideas Clinic on the right, which you might be exposed to during design days. It's where they do a lot of little kind of competitions or more hands-on experiences to get students to know each other. It's just a really good workshop space. Factor 6 is student culture. So the University of Waterloo accepts students from all over the world. Everyone has really unique different backgrounds, and I think it's a safe place for a lot of students because there is so much diversity. You'll be able to find very accepting people for just in general. And while it's a very accepting space, it's also known for a highly competitive academic environment. You're applying for a lot of the same co-ops as your peers, and this could be a pretty high tension experience, but I think in engineering, you'll find that there's a really great community with a lot of traditions. So especially during orientation week, you'll quickly get exposed to these traditions. So I don't want to spoil it too much, but I think you'll find that there's a really great community amongst the students. You're all kind of experiencing the same thing. You're going through the same struggles, and there's enough success to go around for everyone. You can both get a great co-op. It doesn't really matter. And then there's factor 7, so academics. So Waterloo is very unique with the fact that there's direct entry engineering programs. So right from your first year, you're in a pretty specialized program. I've listed them off here on the screen. Most engineering programs at other universities are pretty broad your first year. You experience a general first year and then you specialize. But at Waterloo, we do things a little bit differently. Because of that, I'd really recommend doing your research and researching thoroughly the different programs so you really understand what's available, and it'll make your life a lot easier down the line. I know a lot of students who end up switching out of one engineering program to another, which is definitely possible, but if you can avoid it, it'll make your life a lot easier. And because it's a direct entry programs, from your first year, you're getting skills that are directly applicable to the field you want to work in. So in biomedical engineering, in our physics class, we were using biomedical examples. In our design course, we were focusing on biomedical problems. It was really unique that right away we got to get involved in what we think our career, in the exact direction that we're hoping our career to go. Waterloo Engineering is also home to so many accomplished professors. So I'm not going to go too much into this, but I do recommend that you check out our blog post on admissionsally.ca, the Definite Guide to Waterloo Engineering 2020. I'll have it linked down below. I'd also recommend, if you find that there's a program that you're specifically interested in, look at the courses that you'll be expected to take for that program. Once you find these courses, there's a really great online resource called UWFlow. UWFlow has all the courses offered at the University of Waterloo, and students make different reviews. They talk about different professors that teach those courses, and you can learn more about what you'll be experiencing in your program. So computer science versus software engineering, I think this is a pretty common question. They seem like very similar degrees, but what's the major difference? So with computer science, it's not an accredited engineering program. So software engineering and computer science have a lot of the same curriculum. A lot of the students graduate and are applying for the same jobs, but software engineering is an accredited engineering program. That means upon graduation, you can apply to become a professional engineer of Ontario. With a computer science degree, it's not an accredited program, so you're not able to get that designation. But because it's not an accredited program, it has a lot more flexibility in your schedule. So software engineering is very structured to ensure that you take all the mandatory courses to be able to apply for your engineering designation, while computer science has so much more flexibility. If you're interested in minoring something or there's a lot of different electives you want to take, computer science might be better for you. Another difference about software engineering is you're in a much more small class. And I think that's a big thing that also makes Waterloo Engineering a bit different. The cohort program. So most of the engineering programs are relatively small, like these small direct entry classes. And since it's so specialized right from the start, you're taking all your classes with your cohort. So my first year in biomedical engineering, my schedule and any other first year biomedical engineering student at Waterloo schedules were practically identical. In our math classes, I was with the same kids each day. In my physics class, in my chemistry class, we were all on the same boat. This creates such a great community among students. You really get to know your peers. You create these bonds with these other students that you can rely on them, you can count on them, and create some really great friendships. So factor 8 is alumni. The alumni network connects previous Waterloo graduates from all around the world. I know there's a lot of different alumni chapters. There's one in Toronto, in New York, and a lot of the major cities. And even when I was applying to different co-op positions or like looking at LinkedIn and going to different companies and jobs and doing my research, it was so common for me to see University of Waterloo alumni works here. It's a ginormous network, and it's something that you can be really proud of upon graduation, that you came from this university. And you'll join the likes of Chamath Palihapitiya, and she recently won the Nobel Prize in Physics. And also Mike Lazaridis is one of our alumni. So he was one of the founders of BlackBerry. He's put so much back into the Waterloo region, our professors, and she recently won the Nobel Prize in Physics. And also Mike Lazaridis is one of our alumni. So he was one of the founders of BlackBerry. He's put so much back into the Waterloo region and has invested immensely into the school. And this just is a few just to name a few. The alumni network is amazing. There's so many Waterloo students have gone on to do such amazing things. So overall advocacy. Waterloo's reputation has grown immensely over the past 60 years. For 29 consecutive years, it's been chosen as Canada's most innovative university. And Waterloo has also been one of the top 3 recruiting universities for Google as a whole worldwide. So I think a lot of ranking platforms don't always have Waterloo super high, and it's because Waterloo isn't necessarily the most research-intensive university compared to U of T, which pumps out a lot of different papers, has tons of research going on there. Waterloo has a lot of students that graduate and are getting into the workforce right away. They're very employable, and they're going to work for different startups or different companies, and that isn't as much represented in these general rankings. But the connection with employers that Waterloo has is amazing. Like that's pretty wild that Google looks at the University of Waterloo as one of the top recruiting universities. It's on par with major universities globally. But as it's grown in reputation, so has the competition. Every year, applying to the University of Waterloo gets more and more competitive. As you can see, if we look at the students who've been admitted to the University of Waterloo in 2016, only 10% of them had below an 89. And this compares to back to 2009. You can see that there's so many more students with much lower marks. Just to be considered, your marks need to be in a certain place to be competitive. And then beyond that, you need to have so many different extracurriculars or things that make you stand out. Tuition is also a major consideration when picking a university, and engineering is not one of the cheapest programs. For domestic students, it's $16,120. And then for architecture students, it's a little bit less. International students, it's even more. And then on top of that, books are just another fee to consider. So I hope you learned a little bit more about the university and the program in this video. And if you want more help with Waterloo Engineering, like the admissions process with your application or anything like that, I'd really recommend you check out Admissions Ally Services. There's a lot of different systems we offer, including one-on-one consultation with like our essential packages. So you could work one-on-one with me or one of our other consultants. Or you could go through the Waterloo Engineering Admissions Bootcamp, which will take you through some different examples on different essay examples, video interview questions, and anything you might need to make your application stand out overall. I really recommend you check out our services, and I hope to see you on campus fairly soon.